what's going on around us.
You have not seen what is coming yet, and I have.
Seriously, please hold on to what you've got left.
Save our country. Save our country.
And close the borders.
I felt safe in this country and I don't anymore.
You don't feel safe?
I don't feel safe. I would not come out after dark in this country.
It's not about skin colour like people want to make you believe it is, to paint you in a certain narrative and a certain light. It's not about that at all. I have friends from all different walks of life. It's not about that.
It doesn't make a difference, does it?
No.
I don't go for a walk around the park during the day with my child anymore. I have a big dog and I don't go for a walk by myself anymore. I very rarely leave my house because where I live is so unsafe.
RTE are anti-God. But I'd like to know what you guys think of like the system with IPAS and immigration. Is it gone too much at the moment? Or do you think we're at a good level, or what do you think?
Well, we have this, I mean, Ireland is never full. We need more people.
Nefarious plan in the background to make us feel ashamed of being Irish, ashamed of our culture, ashamed to be white, ashamed to be women. Every other culture needed to be helped. We've opened our doors to every other culture, but it was almost a shameful thing to be Irish. We have to be benevolent to everybody else. Now that has come back to hit us in the face and more.
So what we are against, it's not immigration, no way. What we are against is the mass, illegal, unvetted immigration and the destruction it's having on our communities.
Good boy. Yeah, actually, you're very welcome to Dublin, Ireland. I've been wanting to make this video for a while, but it is going to be kind of a short one. And the reason I want to make it is it's 3 different videos, 2 of which are mine. One is, and I think the root of this is to kind of show how misinformed and divided we are about the most basic of issues. So yeah, so there's 3 clips, and I hope by the end of it you get something from it. Please watch to the end. Please comment. So really, like, without having comments, this isn't an open space for us all, and I want this to be an open space for us all. So with that. So I'm going to start off with something that happened at a demonstration about 6 months ago, where some elderly women, God love them, and they were out there protesting beside our protest about anti-racism, something along these lines. And in the following week, and very pleasant elderly women they were, the following week their husbands take over. And they do the racism thing. I started talking to them, and I knew they were going to be extremely ill-informed. Whatever you want to say in the comments, you just walk away. But like, as you'll probably see, and you probably notice in most of my videos, I'm not going to start getting into an argument with people over it, especially on camera. I ask a question and I try and just shut up. In general, I try to. It doesn't always work, but I do my best to just ask a question and shut up. So the first question I asked to these women, anti-racism, didn't have any argument with them because I just wanted to hear what they had to say. Did say I could meet up with them on another occasion and discuss more deeply.
Nationalists from the UK, seeing what's happening over there, giving you guys a warning. You're if you don't stand up for your rights and for Ireland, you are going to see like what you see in the UK. You're going to see mosques on every corner. You're going to see gangs. You think this is an exaggeration? Seriously, you're in trouble. You are in trouble. You need to see what's going on over there. I lived over there all my life. I came over here 15 years ago, and seriously, please hold on to what you've got left.
Can I talk to any of you? Can I talk to any of you? Can I talk to any of you?
Are you recording?
Yeah, no, what's up? That's what I said. Can I record to talk to you, see what you're doing?
Well, we're here every Thursday.
I've never seen you here before.
We're here from 1 to 2 every Thursday, and the grandfathers are here on Tuesday from 1 to 2.
Oh, very good. I haven't seen you before. And what are you doing?
Well, just like it says on the tin.
Against racism?
Yeah.
And racism
in
in
all
what?
forms.
And do you feel this is racist?
Not necessarily.
Not necessarily.
No.
Well, I'm only wondering what is it, you know.
Yeah, no, we're just against. I mean, we're all the same.
Yeah.
That's the way we
I wouldn't be racist at all. I don't. If anyone's racist, I wouldn't be interested in talking to them.
Yeah.
But it's getting confused with this, getting confused
Yeah, well, you
with
see,
racism.
we're here every Thursday.
Oh,
This is the
come in.
first time I've ever seen a protest like this.
You didn't know this was on, did you know?
No.
Maybe I'll come up and have a chat with you on another Thursday then, maybe, and have a
because
proper.
we're here every Thursday. Some of us are here every Thursday from 1 to 2, and the grandfathers on Tuesday from 1 to 2.
And it's just demonstrating against racism in Ireland.
Well, we're just standing here. We don't speak to anybody unless they speak to us first.
Right,
We
so-
don't instigate conversation. It's just against all forms of racism,
And-
whether it's colour, religion, or anything, because we're all the same.
We're all the same. We're all the same.
Yeah.
And what do you think of the immigration situation that people are here about today?
Turning in their graves, every one of your grandparents.
Second one is just it is someone with political leanings. I think it's Wake Up Air, and I can't remember what her name is off the top of my head, but she just, when I interviewed her, it was about the soup kitchens a few months ago, I found it very, she just kind of nailed everything, or the majority of things, and that was just in a very casual conversation. We just happened to be at a protest together outside the civic offices, for the homeless soup kitchens, etc. So, Adele, how do you feel about Dublin at the moment?
Hi, thank you for this opportunity. As somebody that doesn't live in Dublin and has been travelling up to Dublin, Culty, for since 2019, and obviously much before that, every single time, and I say this to my Dublin friends, every single time I come up to Dublin, which is every couple of weeks, I can see the decline, the degeneracy, the absolute chaos and mayhem. It's relatively quiet here at the moment, but if you have eyes to see and ears to hear, you can see what's really, really going on at the moment. You can see that, this so-called conspiracy theory of the replacement of the Irish people it's actually in full swing at the moment. Look around our GPO at the moment. Look around the cafes, the shops. Where are all the small businesses that once was? They're all gone. And it's not just Dublin, but most certainly because where we are in, we can see it so closely together, so much all together. This is a small little microcosm of what is really going on in the country.
Women and children are feeling very threatened. Not only are we feeling threatened, we have been threatened many times by certain people in our communities. Now, that is not to say that our own people do not commit crime, because they do. But what we don't need is thousands of unvetted, undocumented, illegal men coming over here adding to that crime.
I hate them. Agitation and crankiness, very cranky.
So that's me normally.
yeah, on a normal day, yeah.
Why do you hate it? Did you love it at one stage?
I did, but
What happened?
just that the is after taking over the whole city, like has had a hold of everybody.
Unless Irish people now realise what is really going on, stop the nonsense about the racist thing. I'm not even going to mention the racist word.
That covers my next question is, why are they not seeing it, and do you think they will move away from this racist, right-wing bullshit that we're being accused of if we're patriotic in any way?
Well, I think what's happened in the last few years, and particularly people in my own age group, and then the younger ones again in the schools and the colleges, a very, very direct plan there as well. If you look back over the last few decades, there was a sort of a plan put in place.
Now I'm hearing people say they won't come out because it's gangs of illegal immigrants that are running around this city.
As the Bible says in Genesis, God made us in His image, male and female. He's the creator. We're trying to be the creator.
So there's two genders.
There's two genders, male and female. And God said it's obvious. It's impossible to make a boy a girl a boy. It's impossible because we're trying to be. It's like trying to make a BMW a Toyota. Not to, I'm comparing people to cars, but it's so ridiculous. It's off the head. So, as I said, I'm here today for God, to stand up for justice. God hates injustice, and He wants us to take this nation back. He wants to challenge the pastors. He wants to challenge the Christians. Wake up! Look what's going on around us. The government are allowing panic things into our schools, our children. Our children.
You can see streets that once were kept clean. I see it in Dublin. I pass by the shops.
Filthy.
Absolutely filthy, and it's no offence to people that are trying to keep their properties clean, but absolute filth. Just the general atmosphere, I don't feel safe, and I don't encourage my girls to come up here to shop. You know, they have friends up here, they think I'm, you know, oh ma'am, that's so racist. I tell them, watch out for everybody.
I mean, the fact that people coming in are entitled to particular housing grants, that the Irish people only have HAP, and the Irish landlords are then taxed on HAP but not taxed on any other one. You know, college places are not means tested. If you're not Irish, if you're Irish, they are means tested. They're talking about how Ireland needs to bring all these doctors and nurses in, but all of our doctors and nurses are heading over to Australia because we can't afford to stay here, and because our college places are funded for people who are not Irish.
Obviously, if you're coming in new, it's a little bit easier to be taken care of. That's just my personal opinion.
Yeah.
You know, I think it's easier than if you're Irish to be taken care of.
Yeah, of course.
You know, I don't care if people call me racist or what they call me here. I
Forget
really
it
don't
now.
give a shit.
At this stage.
Stage, because you've just seen, you know, there's a Syrian lady here we feed. They're from all walks without putting a camera on their face. You see them.
Yeah, of course.
They're from everywhere. We don't discriminate. It's just in the big picture things that people can come from, you know, England or London or anywhere they've been for whatever country, you know. Isn't there that Dublin regulation where they're meant to stay in the first safe country?
Yeah.
That's obviously not been enforced, you
No,
know.
it's not at all.
There's no deportations. We do have a rise in crime, Helen McEntee. I don't give a shit if you see this
There is a
either.
rise in crime. Everyone knows
Absolutely.
it.
You would be just blind, deaf and stupid to say otherwise at this point.
What about all the kind of knife attacks? How many was there?
Well,
there was six,
what did we have? We had
six knife attacks with one guy
last week
in the neck got three people in the neck.
100%.
Oh, innocent people with nothing to do with anything.
No, I mean,
I
us standing here at this very minute, it's quite possible you could be the victim of a random attack. And you know, and as for the minister to say wrong place, wrong time, maybe he'd like to come down here now and tell me where I should stand. Where would the right place and the right time be? The same up in Parnell Street where those children were attacked last year. There's no further security up there.
No.
There's no extra security. Who feels safe?
The third thing I'm putting in is a short piece by Suzanne Delaney, another politician. And I'm putting it in because I've had it hanging around for so long. It's not mine, but you know, hopefully no one's going to copyright strike me.
But I want to talk as well about where I live, as again, just the safety aspect of it. I don't go for a walk around the park during the day with my child anymore. I have a big dog and I don't go for a walk by myself anymore. I very rarely leave my house because where I live is so unsafe. I just want to say a few things. I'm from Dublin, but I come to Mayo every weekend. But I wanted to talk about what the situation is like where I live, because you have not seen what is coming yet, and I have, or at least I've seen a part of it anyway. So where I live is about 85% foreign nationals, and most people are fine, you know, but I can walk down the street on any given day, walk into the supermarket, and I don't hear an Irish conversation. I hear foreign people everywhere. My child is one of 30 children in her class, and she's the only Irish child. She came home crying from school a few weeks ago because she doesn't understand what any of her friends are saying. The children revert back to their own languages when they're not being taught in the class, and she's quite young, so most of the time is spent during the day playing, and she literally cannot understand the conversations around her. The children are lovely. I don't have anything against these children. I have nothing against them. That's not the issue here. But it's not good for those children either, because a lot of them are coming in and they're not being given language supports and they don't understand English. So for all the children it's a bad situation because it's disrupting the learning.
Like, I don't think that there's too few police. I just think the knife crimes there isn't a strong enough deterrent. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. You do have certain groups asking migrants to carry, telling them that they should be carrying. I think we all know the ones I'm talking about.
100%. I make no qualms about saying that out. We are not necessarily or never wear a culture of, we have to weapon up every time we go out.
No.
At my age, I don't ever remember being told we had to weapon up.
No.
Before we went out to, go to Guineas or somewhere.
Yeah.
When did that happen? When did that start to happen? And you're absolutely correct. There should be enough Garda. There is enough Garda. But you see, the problem is there's no concerted effort to clamp down on it. And we know the reason for that. And the reason for that is they don't want, because then those incidents have to be reported, then they're crime figures with crime numbers, and then from that we can gather statistics to see where are all these attacks and by whom. And you see, so of course the Garda are absolutely not going to do it because they've been told not to do it.
Well, I mean, they're entitled to their opinion the same way as we're.
Of course. What are your thoughts on it, though?
My thoughts? They're entitled to protest. That's what they firmly believe.
No, the actual immigrants at the IPAS. I'm just after been talking to a few of them over there.
What do they say?
What do they say?
Yeah.
Well, they don't speak English. First of all, they're Arabic friends of mine. But I can't speak to them in English. I need a
over there.
Yeah, I need a translator. He just walked. I have interviewed him before.
All right.
But I'd like to know what you guys think of like the system with IPAS and immigration. Is immigration gone? Has it gone too much at the moment? Or do you think we're at a good level, or what do you think?
Well, we have this. I mean, Ireland is never full. No other country is ever full. I mean, we need more people to work. The younger generation. I mean, look at us. We're all over 70s. I mean, we need workers to replace us.
As the Bible says in Genesis, God made us in His image, male and female. He's the creator. We're trying to be the creator.
So there's two genders.
There's two genders, male and female. And God said it's obvious. It's impossible to make a boy a girl a boy. It's impossible.
Because young people are trying to get mortgages. They're trying to get even rented properties. So now they're starting to equate. The lack of housing is to do with too much. Too much pressure on the housing system, too much pressure. So they're starting to see it, but I believe we have a long way to go with the people of my age. I know that from handing out the flyers, the referendi.
And women in their 30s, like?
Yeah, well, I'm 60, so women,
I was giving you a little
Well, we have to keep it real. I wake up early, keep it real.
I understand it's really, really hard to, be called names and all of these things. But you have to stand up on behalf of your children and the future of the country. The landscape of this country is changing completely. And if you're okay with that, fine, but I'm not okay with that. I'm not okay with that for my child. A certain amount of immigration is to be expected, and it's normal and natural for any country to experience that. But we've gone way beyond what is normal and acceptable. It changes everything. It changes absolutely everything. And when it changes, there's no going back. There's absolutely no going back. And one of the problems is there's no background checks. I know Leo Varadkar said that there is, but the Department of Justice has, under duress, been forced to admit that this is not the case. So when someone comes in and makes an asylum application, the government is essentially forbidden from contacting the government in their country. That's if they even know where they've come from, because they're destroying their passports on the way in. But they're forbidden from contacting their government of origin, because that person could be fleeing a regime, or they could be claiming they're fleeing a regime. So from that point of view, there's no checks. They're saying that they check fingerprints against Europol, but the Gardaí have admitted that they don't do that. And the Department of Justice put that in an FOI response to Michael McNamara and Carol Nolan, 2 TDs. They're saying that they check people against the Schengen system and Eurodac, but neither of those are criminal databases. So everybody who walks in here is not being checked. Not one person, not one single solitary person. And it's mostly men coming in. And the problem I have with that is, I'm not saying people who are coming in are automatically or whatever, but if you were a criminal and you were escaping, you didn't want to have a record following you around, wouldn't you come to a country where nobody's going to ask you who you are? Wouldn't you do that? Because I know I would. I would want to set up a new life somewhere else. And sometimes these countries empty out their prisons and they send people to countries like this because they don't want them.
It's soul destroying, it's heartbreaking, it's terrifying. I have 3 children, I'm absolutely terrified to let them out. I'm from Finglas, so there's a lot of new people in, and like lots of them are lovely and they do work in our shops, and I have a great relationship with the guys, our local shops and all of that, and they're lovely. But when it's the sheer mass of it, it's the sheer size of it is a major problem, and it's the policies that are underpinning them bringing them in here.
And the illegality of the destroying of passports.
And that's the other part of it. I was just saying to the guys up there from Cork that, like, I've absolutely no problem. My problem is when you come into Ireland illegally, you are then illegal, and you are breaking our laws, you are breaking our constitution, and you are not a nice person.
It's not too far for us if we get up and stand up and just stop being fearful of what people think of you. It's a lot worse to live in an unsafe country with no opportunities, no tourism industry. All of these things, they're all going to go if you don't just... If I can do it, anybody can do it. A couple of years ago, I wouldn't have stood in front of a microphone. In fact, I wouldn't have done it a few months ago. I'm trying to do it now to set an example for, you know, other people to try and do it, but also for my child, you know. Please put your children first and your country first, and just don't care what anyone else thinks. That's pretty much all I have to say.
Talk to you soon, Aaron Gubran.